right, welcome back to another edition of Feet in the Creek, where friendship, faith, and fun come together. I am Carrie Ford, one of the hostesses.
I'm Melissa Weisenberg.
I'm Rachel Thiebold.
And we are so glad that you've joined us for this. Now remember, you can let us know some of the topics that you'd like us to talk about at any time. So drop it in the comments. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you subscribe so that you can get notified every time a new one drops. And share it with your friends. We would really appreciate it. You know, we're midlife mamas working on life, grounding in the creek, and just really putting these things together, putting our friendship together. This is fun for us, getting nibbled on, and sharing faith together, and just talking about all of the things that are really important to us, and we think hopefully will be important to you. So Melissa's in the hot seat today.
I've got the hot seat today, and today I wanted us to talk about mindset.
Uh-oh.
So
That's a good one.
It is a good one, right? Well, I never thought about mindset until just recently. I mean, we've all heard the expression, people who think the glass is half full versus the glass is half empty,
Yeah.
right? Like, I've heard that expression my entire life. So it's always kind of like been in the back of my brain. But the actual term mindset and neuroplasticity and the power of positive thinking, I think I kind of thought about that a little bit early on. But it's only been recently, it's only been since I've gone through some business training where they really focused on mindset, that I started to take a look at my life and see all the areas where I've got some stinking thinking, you know?
Stinking thinking.
Stinking thinking. Like, my thinking is really holding me back.
Yeah.
And so I wanted us to just kind of chat about that today. But first of all, I did go, because my type A personality, I had to look up the official definition of mindset, okay?
Yep.
So there's two definitions for mindset that I liked. One says that it's a mental lens that causes us to see the world in unique ways. So our mindset is that lens that we see everything through. So if you're a negative person, everything suddenly is negative.
Don't be a negative Nelly.
Don't be a negative Nelly.
And if your name is Nelly, we love you.
Just
don't be negative.
Thinking.
And then the second definition, which I thought was a little more scientific that I kind of liked, was mindset as your neural connections that operate our brain's circuit board. Okay? And it directs how we process and respond to information. So I like that visual because I'm a computer geek, you know, I love computers and all things computers. So I love thinking about your brain as the circuit board. And then you've got all these little wire connections in there, right? And we want to make sure that we are making the right connections. And so I love the thought of, there have been some studies done, and when I was kind of researching the topic a little bit, that showed teachers in a classroom, if they would come to their kids and tell their kids that they can train their brain. So these teachers go to these kids and say, it's up to you. You can train your brain to do this. Their math grades increased by 20%.
You know, it's super interesting that you say that, because when our daughter was in junior year of high school, math was the thing she struggled the most with. She's not wired that way. I was not wired that way. And we actually took her to a specialist who taught her how to extract the information that she needed in all subject areas in such a way that it doesn't matter if you have the worst teacher in the universe, or you don't have a textbook, or whatever it is, you can gather all the information that you need the right way. And it was all just a simple, I shouldn't say simple, but she had to retrain how she heard things and how she processed it by the way that she would write it on the, I forget what it's called, but on the sides and stuff. So it sounds a little bit like that.
So she retrained those circuit connectors, you know?
Yeah.
And now it's crazy to me because she's in the Coast Guard charting, mapping and charting buoys and, all this stuff. And I'm like, that's kind of math. And she's like, it kind of is. And,
Well, the other great example that I read about that really resonated with me is the example that they used was, so somebody gets a cancer diagnosis, and that cancer diagnosis has a 90% success rate once you are treated, there's a 90% chance of survival. But for some people, they hear that cancer diagnosis and, well, my aunt had that and it was miserable and whatever. So they approach it, oh, this is going to be awful. I'm going to suffer just like my aunt suffered. This is awful. And that mindset going into cancer treatment already puts them in a position where their outcome will not be as good as the person that goes into the treatment thinking, I got this. I can beat this.
You know what? One of the best things that everybody could just sit and realize is that we are unique in our own way. We are like a snowflake. There is nobody else who has our DNA, who has our exact makeup. We are our own person, so that how your body reacts to cancer, or your body reacts to childbirth, or your body reacts to schoolwork or math, I said we're all gonna do things differently, you know?
Yeah.
Because we were all created differently.
And it's super fascinating to me that the impact of our minds, the impact that our mindset can have on that.
Right.
And you know, it's interesting that you mentioned the business training. Like, we all have the same business coach, and I know when I started with her, the whole first module of training is all mindset. And so many people were frustrated with that. They're like, I came here for business training, not mindset training. And she was like, well, you're not going to be successful in your business until you get your mindset right.
Right.
And it was phenomenal.
Even positive affirmations were huge for me in the beginning. I remember thinking it was this yuppie hippie, which, okay, I have a little bit of yuppie hippie in me, but I remember thinking that, oh, that's not going to work. Like, why am I going to repeat to myself, I am successful, I am good at this, And I just thought it was kind of crazy. But I can't tell you the transformation that happened when I did that. Yeah. Did you guys feel the same?
We did. I do conscious language a lot, and I'll say to Carrie, or I don't know if I said to you, and I apologize if I haven't, but I'll say, I vote your victory on this today.
You said that to me.
I have said that to you.
That, yeah.
So I think people need to be lifted, and they need to know that they have those cheerleaders, and you need to be your own cheerleader. And it's, aroma freedom, right? Technique.
Yeah.
It's just all part of mindset and just lifting people up and getting to the point where you're changing your
Well, I love
mindset.
setting that intention before I start work. So if I'm going to sit down on the computer and get to work on my business, I love just taking a couple of minutes and saying, I got this. I'm good at this. I can do it. And kind of like pumping yourself up.
Sure.
Think about the football players. They all get in the huddle before the game, right? And they're like, oh, and they get themselves all worked up and then go. And there's something to that,
yeah,
right?
There really is. And I think back to my son. My son was super big into Thomas the Tank Engine. Super big into it. We even have an ornament on our tree because of Thomas, because he was so into it. But what I love is Thomas would go, I think I can, I think I can, I think I can. And right there, at an early stage, I loved Thomas because Thomas was, my son would walk around going, I think I can, I think I can. Well, he's about to leave and move to the other side of the country for college. And I always say to him, I think you can. And I'd say that to him. And that was me voting his victory.
Yeah.
And it was bringing him back to a time in childhood when there weren't all those mind games and issues that we get as we get older and we encounter more yucky people in the world and, messes with our mindset, or we've failed, enough at something that we suddenly think of failure, but that I think I can, I think I can. And, I think you can. I think you can. I think you can.
So here's my challenge, and I don't know if you guys feel the same, but I am in a household full of glass half empty people. Love my husband to death, but he is definitely a glass half empty person. And sometimes I get so frustrated by that because every little setback is never seen as an opportunity. It's never, that expression when God closes a door, he opens a window, or, it's never seen like that with him. And I get so frustrated by that. Do you guys experience that? How do you get past that? Because I'm constantly saying, don't look at it that way. Think of it as that, let's see what God has in store for us. I always feel like I have to be the cheerleader in that situation. How do you guys feel?
And I do think that we do. We do have to. My husband's like that too. Yeah. Things generally tend to be difficult for him. If he tries to repair something, it never really works.
It's so true.
You know what?
That's it.
I have to say, I kind of feel like I'm not responsible for other people's feelings.
That's
What?
true.
I try to make sure that I'm taken care of so I could take care of people, but how somebody feels and how, like, I'm not responsible for that. They have to.
But doesn't it suck your energy? Like if you're in that room
No,
with that
not
person.
anymore. Not anymore.
How did you get to that point? Because I remember when we were first married, I used to tease Eric all the time and say he was Eeyore. He's absolutely Eeyore.
Well,
nobody
you know what?
you know, it's that.
Yeah, yeah.
You have to, if you have everything where it's done, like you've done everything right, you've made that plans, you know, your list is checked, or even if it's an uncompleted list, it's okay. Like, don't let the surroundings, right? Don't let it cloud your view. It's that
Yeah.
peripheral vision. Like, don't have that tunnel vision either. Like, this is it. This is all I see. Like, you know, gather, right?
Yeah.
Gather people to come and join you in your circle, and eventually they're going to come in.
I think that's key. Having this, having a group of friends who view the world as that glass half full, that you can come and recharge with. Because it's draining. For me personally, it's draining. I don't know if it's just part of my personality where I tend to pick up the emotion and the energy in the room a little more. But it does affect me, and I have to step away. I have to ground. I have
Right.
to stick my feet in the creek. And today I don't even have the shoes on because I'm like,
Yep.
I need grounding. So I think that's it. I think it's really finding the friends, the right circle of people.
And as I've used Carrie before, and I know I've texted you too, it's like you could just find those circle of people you have that could either at the moment send you an affirmation, send you a prayer, send you a good thought. Find who those people are in your life and utilize them. And utilize us, right? Send us a message, right?
Yeah.
You know,
Use
you
the
need
group.
prayer, use the group, pray, you know, just type the word pray into the message area, and you know, we don't need to know what the situation is.
Right.
We'll just pray. We know
just
there's
pray.
a name that said pray, and we're going to pray, or we'll send you some affirmations of glass half full, and we're going to send those vibes out.
Yep.
So do you think we should pray for everybody who's asked us to pray for them this week?
Absolutely.
All right. And we're going to have a great week.
We are.
All right.